Hi, welcome to the shop. My name is Brad. This is Bo Woodcraft, and we're going to build something cool today. What I'm going to do today is show you how to make a planter out of 3 fence pickets that you can get at any of your big box stores and turn that into cash. Let's get started. All right, so we got our 3 pickets here. What we're going to do is we're going to get started over at the miter saw. So we need 4 of these that are going to be 14 inches long. We need 6 that are going to be 12 3/4, and then we're going to rip one of these down into strips that are 1 3/4 and 1 1/8, and then that's going to give us one little piece that we're going to need to wrap this whole thing up. So I'm going to go ahead and get started cutting. I'm going to start with the 14-inch pieces, so I'm going to cut 4 of those, but I'm going to cut 2 boards at a time just to save myself a little bit of time. Don't forget your PPE. I'm going to go ahead and mask up because cedar isn't really that great to get in your lungs. Okay, so we got our main parts cut up. These are going to be the sides. We got 2 sides, so we got 4 pieces for the sides. Then we have 2 of these pieces that are going to go in the bottom. And then these 4 are going to be the long sides. So, and you'll see how this all goes together in just a minute. All right, so we're going to lay those out. Now what we're going to do is we're going to head over to the table saw. We're going to rip down that other piece into the strips that we need, and then we'll get those cut up into the lengths that they were supposed to be. So let's get that going. All right, so we've got the strips cut that we need. We've got 2 that are 1 3/4, and we've got 1 that is 1 1/8. We're going to go ahead and get over to the miter saw. We're going to get these cut to length, what they need to be for the legs and for the top trim. And then this little stick right here is going to be the little support for the bottom. So let's get that going. have our pieces for our legs, and those you're going to nail together in an L shape like this. Okay, and those are 16 inches long. Again, 1.75 inches, 1 1/8. So that makes a perfect L shape. So we have 4 sets of those. And then we have one set of 16-inch 45-degree, so 16-inch long point to long point on these. And then they're cut at a 45. And this is going to become the top trim for your planter. So what I like to do is go ahead and I nail these together first with some glue, and I set it aside, and while I build the rest of the planter, that gives the top a little bit of time to set up, so that when it's all ready to go, I just set it on top, boom, 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 nail it on, and you're done. Okay. I timed myself one time assembling one of these planters, and I was able to do it in under 5 minutes. So it is a quick way to make a few bucks. So let's get started in assembling this planter. Okay, to assemble these, I'm going to be using Titebond 3. Because it is a waterproof product, that's going to work well outside when you're watering your plants. So I'm going to go ahead and get started putting that top piece together. So let's go ahead, and it's like building a picture frame. So lay these out, and you want to make sure that you find the part that is kind of the best looking pieces to go up, because you want your customers to be happy and come back, right? So I kind of like the way those look, and we're going to go ahead and I'll put a little glue on each side of this and spread that out a little bit, and then we're going to go ahead, and I'm using 1-inch brad nails to nail this together. I'm just going to put one nail, hold that square, hit it with brad nail. There's our top. We're going to set that to the side right now, and I'm going to go ahead and assemble these 4 legs. And what I do is I just put a little glue down the side of the 1 1/8 inch piece. And you can wipe that down. You can do whatever you want to, however you're comfortable gluing things up. And then I make sure that the corners are matched up. And I put 3 brad nails in that. So I'm going to go ahead and do that 3 more times, and then we'll have our legs put together. All right, so what you're going to do is, you see that end right there? You have the short piece and you have the longer piece. I want to put that long piece down on the table on both sides so that they're facing opposite of each other. So I have a long piece going this way, and I have a long piece going that way. See how that's going? I'm going to lay those out, and then I'm going to take my glue, and I'm going to come up about 5.5 inches, and I'm just going to put a bead of glue right down each leg. And I'm going to take one of my pieces of cedar that I'm going to have be the front, and I'm going to put that at the top. And then again, I'm just going to put in 3 nails. 3 on that side, 3 on that side, and then I'm going to take another piece. And I want to make sure that the pieces that I use in the front, or that they match kind of the grain pattern and how everything's going to kind of look. All right, and I'm just going to put that right there. Now here's where our little pieces come into play. So I got these little guys, and they don't need to be exactly put where, there's no measuring needed for this piece. I'm just going to put a bead of glue right at the bottom, and then I'm going to give that enough space on each side so it's kind of eyeballed even. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to angle these a little bit so they don't come out the front, because you don't want nails popping out on your product. Okay, and that is our first side. Okay, so now we have our two sides. They're assembled and ready to go. And what we're going to do is we're going to put them this way. So see how we have this little lip all along these sides? That's where the 12 and 3/4 inch pieces go. So I'm going to go ahead and put just a little glue on both sides. And then again, you want to make sure that your grain pattern is something that you find appealing. So if you like the lighter color mixed with the dark color, or if you just like the whole dark color, I like the dark color, so I'm going to go ahead and put that to the down. I'm going to face that down, and that's going to be to the outside. So then again, we're just going to make sure that everything is lined up nice and flush and square. And 3 nails on each side. And you're like, but Brad, how are that 3 little nails going to hold that all together? Well, let me tell you what. Once this Titebond 3 dries up and everything gets all set, these aren't going anywhere. I haven't had one come apart on me yet. So, and then you want to make sure that that corner is nice and tight in there. I'm going to flip this over, and we're going to do the same thing on the bottom side. Pick my grain pattern, and again I'm going to go with this side and put that on the top so it matches the other, and then this one will slide in there. These nice and matched up on the top corners. And if you cut everything square and you measure it all correctly, these are going to come out very square. You're not going to have to do much for adjusting the squareness of it. Okay. All right, so there you go. That is the basic frame. Now we just need to put a bottom in this thing and put the top on it, drill a couple holes, and we're done. So I'm going to go ahead and put glue right along these little edges, and then we're going to put the bottom 12-inch pieces in there. So it's a little tight in there. Okay, so now it's time to put our top on. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put glue on all of the surfaces. Just do a little curlicue in the corners. And then you got to remember which side you want it to be up. So that was my up side. And then we line those up nice. It should be fairly flush all the way around. And I'm going to put a nail in the corner there, square it up, put a nail in the corner over there, and then I'm going to go ahead and nail this off. There, one there, one there, and one there. Okay, so there you go. A cute little planter. Now we just got to drill a hole in that thing and make ready for drainage. All right, there you have it. A 15-inch by 15-inch is what I sell them as, which is about what the measurements come out to when they're all done. Actually, with the top, it's probably a 16 by 16. Drainage in the bottom, cute little planter. You can give these away as gifts, or you can make quite a bit of profit with these. In the springtime, March, April, and May, I was selling over $1,000 worth of these every week. And I have to tell you, I was going through a lot of cedar pickets. All right, if you found this helpful, please like, subscribe, and maybe drop me a comment. My name is Brad. This is Bo Woodcraft. Don't forget to get out in your shop and make something cool. Have a great day.